All right, so then you think, if it happened to him, world record holder, how can it not happen to a triathlete unless we program ourselves to resist the possibility of that happening? All right, and so a little analysis of how Bernard lost. All right, he went 25.4, so he went 9/10 of a second slower on that last 50. He took 12 more strokes. That's insane. All right, so world-class, world record holder swimmer, and the stroke differential, that's crazy. Crazy. How does that happen? Terrestrial mountain. That's how it happened. All right, so three-speed problem. We're really facing three-speed problems. And what I'll point out here is the traditional solutions don't solve any of them. All right? The first problem we're facing is that we have a limited amount of energy to apply. And when I say we convert 3% of energy or horsepower to locomotion, that was something a group, DARPA, that does advanced research as a research arm for the Defense Department. They usually do black box weapons research. But in 2005, they were asked to design a swim club for the Navy SEALs so they could swim long distances at decent speed and not get tired. And they studied dolphins, and they found that dolphins convert 80% of horsepower and energy into locomotion, and humans only convert 3%. And the difference is dolphins move through water, humans move the water around. All right, and terrestrial mammals in water are energy-wasting machines. So bigger lumps-oriented training is solving the wrong problem, right? It's energy waste is the problem we've got to solve. And saving energy, you know, where conditioning is physiological, everything you do to save energy is reflective. It's making a conscious decision to do something which, after teaching adult concept swimmers for 22 years, I now know that everything that solves the energy wasting problem is counterintuitive. Not something you would ever think of doing unless someone said, this is beneficial to practice. Right? One simple thought. As a terrestrial mammal, right, we are wired to keep our heads high because it's safer, because we won't choke if our heads are high. Right? And to swim like an aquatic mammal, you must release your head. You must let its weight go. No one ever thinks that, right? Another thing is, rather than pushing on the water molecules behind you, the most important thing you must do is separate the water molecules ahead of you and slide your body through a sort of space or sleeve that you use your arm to separate, right? So active streamlining, not propelling, not pulling or kicking, is the thing that is the most important thought to have, right? When you did your first ever trip down a pool, right, your bold swim to try to make it to the other end of the pool, was there one brain cell that was thinking about streamlining? Especially once you got in there? Alright, so that's neural. It's reflective. Alright, and a workout is not going to help you do it because everything that was in that workout, alright, that we looked at before was about work. It wasn't about energy saving, right? So resistance is the second speed problem. And in the 92 Olympics, the men's 100-meter finalists, all right, the fastest event, the most power-oriented event, were tested against all the non-finalists, and they found that the finalist as a group took generated 16% less stroking power. That's like a whack upside the head moment, all right? I actually talked about that at the American Swimming Coaches Association World Clinic 3 weeks ago. I was teaching a day-long class called the Stroke School, 80 coaches in the audience, and I talked about that study, and of the 80 coaches, when I said, how many have ever heard of that study? One hand went up, right? Massively relevant and revelatory piece of information for a swimming coach, and yet one of 80 coaches had heard of it, all right? So the main advantage, as the researcher said, was that the best swimmers in the world do superior whole body streamlining. That is neural. That's not physiological. It is muscular to the extent that we use the muscles for stabilizing, for toning, for extending, right, rather than pulling and kicking, right? So bigger muscle solves the wrong problem, and streamlining is neural, not physiological, right? And then finally gauge, and this is true of pretty much all triathletes, their only fitness peaks of 30+, whereas neural fitness, improvement of of the programs in your nervous system you can do to at least age 70 plus. They haven't found the ceiling on it, to my extent. Are you aware? Yeah, they haven't found the ceiling, but they have documented that people can keep improving their neural programs in their 70s. You've gained 4 decades of potential improvement if you are focused on neural training rather than physiological training. All right?